Welcome to your Farm and Home Show. This is Kristin Hildabrand. I'm Warren County's Extension Agent for Horticulture, and visiting with us again is Dr. Nicole Gauthier. She's our Extension Plant Pathologist with the University of Kentucky. You're going to be talking to us about cool diseases, especially for this cool weather months that we may have here in Kentucky, especially on our cool crops that we have, specifically vegetables. And so I'm hoping that you can expand on some of these diseases that we might see in the cooler weather months of Kentucky.
Everybody who gardens knows that we have cool season vegetables and warm season vegetables. So when we talk about cool season vegetables, that's lettuce and your cold crops, right? Your broccoli and your cauliflower and your Brussels sprouts. So we're talking about cool season crops, and then of course cool season diseases, and those are diseases caused by pathogens that like the cool weather as well. So usually they kind of come in together, unfortunately. And even though it's really cold outside where we're not going to see a lot of diseases, our cool weather is coming. We will be planting our spring gardens very soon, especially putting in these cool season crops. Cold weather does not kill diseases. It puts them to sleep. They're dormant right now. No matter how cold it gets out there, no matter how much snow or ice, those pathogens are not dead. They are just waiting for that cool season to come about, and those cool season vegetables, which will be their all-you-can-eat buffet. First of all, we plant early, especially these cool season crops, and the soil is still cool. The soil is, right, it's cool season, it's early in the season. And when we plant into cool soil, our plants don't take off as fast as they would as if we plant our summer garden, right? So those soil-borne root rot pathogens like Pythium root rot, that's number one. So plants, they're not able to really grow fast enough and to outgrow those soil-borne pathogens. So Pythium root rot, number one, I'm across the board for all of our spring gardens. And then we see Sclerotinia diseases. So that's what we know as timber rot on tomatoes or drop on lettuce. So any lettuce growers have probably seen lettuce drop, or botrytis gray mold. It also likes wet, humid, cool conditions. So those are kind of the three big diseases for the cool season. And all three of those diseases will affect all of our cool season crops.
Is there one that's worse over the other? Or I guess it kind of starts and then it gradually gets worse. Is that correct?
Generally. So they all like wet conditions, and spring is always wet. So that hands down, Pythium root rot likes it really wet. So it's not a fungus, it's a water mold. It needs a lot of water to complete its life cycle. And we know what March and April look like, right? It's very rainy, no need to water. But the most persistent one is the Sclerotinia diseases, right? The lettuce drop, the timber rot in tomato, which we'll usually see timber rot like in high tunnels. And then white mold is what we call the very same pathogen. So Sclerotinia on your cold crops, we call it white mold. And that one produces sclerotia, which are overwintering structures or oversummering structures. And they're persistent in soils for many years. So once that disease establishes, it will produce those overwintering or survival structures for many years. So that one is really challenging. And then, of course, botrytis just produces so many spores, so gray mold. So once we get gray mold, it's harder to manage because it's just sporulating so much. So they're all really bad, but I think that the lettuce drop, white mold, Sclerotinia is the most persistent and the hardest one to manage.
Is there any good resources that could help with maybe identification?
Absolutely. So on the UK's Department of Plant Pathology webpage, we have lots of resources. So if you go down to vegetables, there are commercial spray schedules and resources. Those for residential and backyard. And if you keep going, we break it down by crop, and we have profiles on some of the most common diseases. We also have a YouTube channel where we add profiles. So we've been building that library over time. So we're going to link those for our viewers, and then that way they can go back to those resources, especially as their garden begins to establish. Hopefully they won't need them, but they're there if anybody does.
If you have any questions, make sure to reach out to your local extension office. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.